klaxon splits the dark over the camp wall. Somewhere past the containers, the fence is coming down. Chain link screaming, 100 throats that don't breathe right. Deck is behind you, close enough to grab. Your hands are steady on the bar you're holding. That's the part that scares you. You don't know yet if the wall holds. Not for another year. None of that exists yet. Rewind 364 days, and there's no wall, no klaxon, no camp. Only a Tuesday, a kitchen, and a rule your family made as a joke before it became the only rule that mattered. You want to believe the first sign would be obvious. It isn't. Nobody's ever is. Mara meets you at the door with 2 knocks, a pause, 1. The code you made up as a joke the week Deck was born, so you'd always know it was family. Deck's inhaler has 11 days left in it and no refill until payday. An ordinary Tuesday. You have no idea it's the last one. 2 knocks, a pause, 1. If it's not that, it's not us. Dinner is grilled cheese because it's Tuesday, and Tuesday is grilled cheese, and Deck narrates his whole day around a mouthful of it. The kitchen smells like butter and burnt crust. Somewhere 2 blocks over, a car alarm won't stop. Nobody looks up. Car alarms are Tuesday too, until they aren't. The 10 o'clock news runs a 30-second clip, a disturbance, 3 dead, a neighborhood 2 counties over, gone before the weather segment. You mute it halfway through. This isn't the kind of thing that reaches a street like yours. Every family on this block will say that exact sentence tomorrow, and none of them will mean it as a warning. Through the blinds, Mr. Alvarez stands in his own driveway at midnight, not moving, facing the wrong direction. Don't call it strange. Call it the porch light. Call anything but what it is. Your hand is already on the deadbolt before you decide to lock it. The first honest thing your body has done all night. Mr. Alvarez comes through his own front door at 4 a.m. Through it, not out of it, wooden hinge and all, and the sound he makes isn't a scream. It's wrong in a way your body understands half a second before your mind does. Grab December. Grab Mara. Don't grab anything else. The car keys are already in your hand. You don't remember picking them up. The highway is a parking lot by 6, 3 lanes of brake lights pointed at a horizon nobody reaches. 100,000 people had this exact idea at the exact same time. A 40-minute drive takes most of the day, if it ends at all. Deck asks if this is like the hurricane drill from school. You tell him yes. You lie. A gas station TV loops the same 4 minutes on every channel. A man in a government blazer keeps saying containment, like it still means something. Here's the part almost nobody remembers. Years before tonight, the CDC published an actual public preparedness guide for exactly this. A real government document, filed under zombie apocalypse, meant half as a joke and half as a drill nobody ran. You didn't run it either. By the 3rd day, the grocery store has exactly what 3 days of empty shelves and no trucks always leaves. Nothing in cereal, nothing in water, 1 dented can of green beans nobody wanted Monday. Take it anyway. The store doesn't restock because the people who restock it aren't coming. Nobody built this system to survive itself for even a week. A man twice your size wants the can more than you do. And for 4 seconds in a parking lot, you learn exactly how far more than you do goes. He walks away with it. You walk away with a torn sleeve and a stranger pressing a shirt to your arm, saying the wound isn't deep, saying it twice like saying it makes it true. The parking lot empties out wrong. Too fast, too quiet, then not quiet at all. Don't look back. Count the exits instead. The car is 4 rows away, and every one of those rows has something moving in it that used to be a person doing ordinary Tuesday things. Run the ordinary distance like it's the only thing that has ever mattered. The drive home is the same empty highway backward. No traffic now, because there's nowhere left worth driving to. Deck asks, quietly, if Mr. Alvarez is going to be okay. Don't answer that one directly. Answer the one underneath it instead. Yes, you're going to be okay. Yes, all 3 of you. And you say it like a fact instead of a hope, because right now he needs the fact more. Nail the board yourself. Cross-braced, because a boarded window slows a body down and a locked door barely does. A gallon of water a person a day. That's the real number. And 4 people times 14 days is water you don't have and can't carry. Ration it like it's the only currency left. It is. The CB radio catches a voice at 2 a.m., faint under the static. A call sign, lighthouse, reading coordinates on a loop like a lullaby, promising walls and lights and a working well. Mara wants to believe it. You want to believe it more. Neither of you writes the coordinates down. and neither of you says why. A man named Cole knocks on the boarded door. 3 fast knocks. No pause. Wrong on purpose or wrong from panic. You can't tell which. He says he has nothing. Says it twice. Says he'll take anything you can spare. You slide half a case of water through the gap in the boards and don't open the door. Cole remembers that. Cole doesn't leave quietly. He stands in the yard a full minute after the water's gone, staring at the boarded door like he's already found where the gaps are. Everyone opens it eventually, he says, mostly to himself. Not yet the line you'll hear again in 3 weeks. You don't know that yet. Mara pulls you back from the window. Your eyes stay on him until the street swallows him. Sleep happens in shifts now. One of you always upright, always listening for 2 knocks and a pause in one. Deck's inhaler is down to 4 days. Mara hasn't said the word when out loud yet, but you can hear her building up to it, the way you build up to a cold plunge. Your hands are steady, buttoning his coat in the dark. That's the part that scares you. Mara stops eating on the 9th day of the 3rd week and says it's nothing. She favors her left arm, carrying the water buckets, and says it's nothing. The boarded room smells like wet plywood and the kerosene lamp, and under it, faint, something new, something you don't have a word for yet and don't want one. Ask her to roll up her sleeve. Ask her twice. The bite is small, already going dark at the edges, hidden 3 days under a sleeve because she didn't want this exact silence in this exact room. Nobody says anything for a while that has no clock on it. Outside, muffled through the boards, Cole is still out there. You didn't know he'd come back, and his voice finds the gap in the wood like it's looking for it. You really think that door holds forever? Everyone opens it eventually. She already did. Emergency crews have had a name for this decision since 1983, for choosing who gets saved when saving everyone isn't on the table. They tag it black, and they move on, because the alternative costs the people who can still be saved. You don't have a color tag. You have a spare room and a deadbolt on the wrong side of the door, and you use it anyway. The checkpoint runs everyone through the same gate. A light on your eyes, a look at your arms, a form with boxes for bitten, exposed, and clean. A National Guard sergeant named Reyes runs the line like he's done it 4,000 times, because he has. 1 in 4 who reach this fence don't make it through it. You make it through. Deck makes it through. You don't ask what happens to the 4th. Reyes runs the sector out of a tent with a state flag and a stack of orders signed under emergency powers that let a governor call soldiers into their own streets. He didn't write the rules. He just enforces the version of them that keeps 200 people fed on a truck built for 80. You want to hate him for the fence. You mostly can't. Everyone in this camp lost someone at that fence. You get to grieve on your own time, not on my clock. 6 weeks later, on fence duty, you find Cole. What's left of deciding it's Cole? The same jacket, the same knock he never learned to soften. He's on the wrong side of the wire now, in the crowd pressing the fence at 3 a.m., one face in 100 that used to be someone's front door. You do the job. You don't tell Reyes whose face it was. There's an empty folding chair at the communal table now, where Mara should be, and nobody moves it, and nobody says her name at dinner, and Deck eats faster than he used to so he can leave the table first. Grief doesn't get a schedule here. It gets whatever's left after water duty and fence duty and the next thing and the next. A year in, the camp holds on 40 fenced acres, containers, a garden grid, a well, just enough land to almost feed everyone on it, which is the whole design and the whole limit both. You have a job now. Night watch, west wall, the shift nobody wants. Your hands have stopped shaking a long time ago. That's the part that scares you most. Reyes runs the camp council now. The same clipped voice, the same 4,000 times calm, except the orders aren't only about who gets through the fence anymore. They're about seed rotation, watch rotation, who teaches the kids their letters. The rules that kept you alive at the checkpoint are the same rules keeping you fed a year later. You still don't fully forgive him for the fence. You still stand his watch. Deck is 9 now and has a real inhaler again. From a real pharmacy shelf, someone's supply run, cleared out 3 camps over. And he kneels in the garden, rows some mornings just to watch things grow on purpose. The dirt under your own nails isn't ash or plaster dust anymore. It's just dirt. You'd forgotten what that felt like. A new family came through the gate last month. A woman, a boy about Deck's age, a father who didn't make it as far as the fence. Dinner is canned stew and real bread. And for the first time in a year, the table has more voices at it than silences. The boy watches Deck the way Deck once watched other kids on your old street. Ordinary almost. The klaxon splits the dark over the wall. Somewhere past the containers the fence is coming down. Chain link screaming, 100 throats that don't breathe right, exactly the way you always knew it eventually would. Deck is behind you, close enough to grab. Your hands are steady on the bar you're holding. That's the part that scares you. The wall holds. Barely. Not everyone's does. Somewhere out past the tree line, if you still had the radio, Lighthouse would still be reading its coordinates on a loop. You never found out if it was real, and some nights you still think about driving out to check. Here's the true thing under all of it. A rail math paper once modeled exactly this: outbreak against response time, and the numbers said the same thing every time. Fast or not at all. Teach the new boy the knock at the gate, to a pause when the same rule Mara made up as a joke before it became the only rule that mattered. He asked what it's for. Tell him the truth. It's how you know who's still you. The wall holds today. Tomorrow makes its own rules. 2 knocks. A pause. 1. Now you know who's still you.